We want to begin the show with a public service announcement of sorts. We have a very special guest on for a few minutes to talk about the United for East Palestine Common Sense Summit, a virtual event happening this Sunday, May 21st at 5 p.m. We want to welcome one of the main organizers and volunteers with United for East Palestine, Felix. Thanks for coming back, man. Great to see you.
It's great to be here. I was really digging the psychedelic lo-fi entrance music.
Right.
Thank you. Yeah,
we were digging that too.
We didn't really want to come on.
Everybody in the chat has an opinion about the music, man. People really love it or they really hate it.
Let's talk about this event that you guys have coming up. I know you scheduled it for April and then rescheduled it. This is the Common Sense Summit, Sunday, May 21st at 5 p.m. Do you want to give us some updates out of East Palestine, Ohio, and what this event is going to be and how it came together and what people can expect when they tune in?
Yeah, so the event came about from basically looking at the systemic issues and trying to figure out how do we move this from, okay, so East Palestine is where it's at, right? In terms of the recovery, in terms of locals organizing, in terms of how that situation is going. And if we're going to actually address the problem, we have to look at the systemic issues. And the only way we're going to be able to address the systemic issues is by building a larger national coalition to build a larger movement, both grassroots and along all spheres of our societal culture, to really look at the problem. And the problem is we're poisoning ourselves. We're poisoning our air. We're poisoning our water. We're poisoning our soil, which in turn poisons our food and our children, our houses, and everything else. And and that's not an opinion. That's not me saying that. That is objective fact based on these are chemicals that we know they're poisoned, and we know that they're in our soil, water, and air. So this isn't an opinion. This is just a fact. And when I got involved in this, what I was stunned by was how much I wasn't noticing, and how much I suddenly before and how much I now was noticing all of the continuous train wrecks, explosions in cities, and all of these things that just happen and usually just get swept under the rug and no one even notices.
Right.
And so we were really trying to rack our brain as a team, like how do we actually address the real problem? And so we were, well, the problem is we don't have clean air, clean water, and clean soil. And so Common Sense Summit is just, how do we kick out all of the nonsense political stuff and culture war stuff? And, you know, I'm a Republican, I'm a Democrat, I'm an independent, I'm a Pastafarian, whatever. I don't care what you are. The question is, do you agree with the fundamental ideas that we should have clean air, clean water, and clean soil? And if so, then let's work together to at least make that happen. Like whatever, regardless of what you want society to be, regardless of what you think the optimal economic system is, or regardless of what you think the government should or should not be doing, we can all agree that having clean air, clean water, and clean soil are not negotiable. And so if we can agree that this is a necessity for life and society, then I think we can come together along those lines, and that was the impetus of the Common Sense Summit.
Yeah, so you got RFK basically headlining that. That's a huge get, obviously. Congratulations about that. I know RFK is involved with this project that you have. Marianne Williamson visited East Palestine. Seems like Joe Biden is the only Democrat in the race not to have paid East Palestine much mind. And it seems to me he's doing that for the most...
Has extra Bullah gone? Bullah hasn't gone, right?
Well, that's true. We have to put that in his calendar, actually. Thanks for reminding me. He's still sleeping off the hangover from the Vegas wedding, but when he starts answering his phone again, we'll set that up. But it seems like Joe Biden is very petulantly avoiding this issue precisely because Donald Trump beat him to it. So I think it seems to me like Joe Biden is afraid to go there because he's afraid that once he goes, it'll look like he only went because Trump went. What are your thoughts on Biden's response, and what are your thoughts about RFK? How'd you make that all happen? You could take those in any order you want.
So I think I think Biden's major calculus in not coming to East Palestine was that he's not sure there's enough ice cream shops there.
Good point. You know, I hadn't thought of that. But it makes sense.
You know, and especially because, but I think the main thing is just that his handlers don't see any specific benefit. I think in their mind, Ohio isn't something they want to invest in politically because they've already decided it's going for Trump. And the fact that it spilled over into Pennsylvania doesn't really bother them either because the only people impacted in Pennsylvania are the rural Pennsylvanians, and nobody cares about them anyways. So, you know, it's really just a matter of it. The problem was it looked bad for a little bit, but they knew CNN was going to help them kind of make it about Norfolk Southern and just keep Joe Biden out of view. You know, if the media did even a little bit of its job in holding the president or holding the government accountable or questioning what the EPA was saying, I think Joe Biden probably would have showed up. Not that I don't think it would have done anything, but I just don't think his handlers felt it was worth the expense and time to plan and make it happen because they just didn't see there being a particular benefit.
Yeah, and I think at this point, like once the initial response was delayed, right, it's almost like George W. Bush going to New Orleans a week after. Right, it's like once you drag your feet in the first 48 to 72 hours, going there just looks like you're chasing it, right? It just looks like you're trying to play political catch-up. And that never looks good, especially, like you said, in a town like East Palestine, Ohio, you know, Eastern Ohio, Western Pennsylvania, that is Trump country. He's not very popular in those parts to begin with, much less now.
And I think also it's an issue of Joe Biden's position politically. I don't think the problem is that I don't think anybody really cares that he didn't go. Like the whole, did he go? Right. Did he show up? That's a corporate media thing. It's like, do we get the, they want the media attention, but who cares if Joe Biden goes? Who cares if Pete Buttigieg goes? Pete Buttigieg showed up. What did it change? Nothing. Donald Trump went. What did it change? Nothing. Right. JD Vance was making videos, but I mean, and he actually has done a little bit of work. So props to JD Vance, even though he tried to race bait on it for no reason. The problem is that they then sent in their government goons to run cover for Norfolk Southern, and then they let Norfolk Southern actually dictate the response and control the response, and that is the problem. And I honestly, I think if I was Joe Biden's campaign advisor, and I knew that what the EPA was going to do, and their whole goal was covering up anyways, I would say don't go. Because then you're all that's going to happen by you going there is people are going to call you a liar. Like when Barack Obama went to Flint and drank the water, that haunted the rest of his presidency because everybody knows he was full of it. So I just don't think there was any benefit for Joe Biden to doing that. So your question on RFK, we got that because I think I guess the universe decided I was due for some luck, or I don't know. I have no idea how that happened. Honestly, it was just a shot in the dark. Just was like, hey, we're putting this thing together, and messaged RFK, and he was like, his team got back to us, was like, yeah, he'd love to do it, and I was like, really? Because we also messaged a lot of other people. I'm not going to say any names. I will just say there's a lot of acronyms that people will think are famous. That were in those email lists. There's a lot of names of people who you would think would be interested in coming to those things. People whose names you would recognize who never got back to us. So there was a lot of people we got in contact with to try and come to that. People who we actually had contacts with that didn't show up. And it was. I'm not gonna lie, a little disappointed in some of these people, despite myself. But RFK actually is going to be kicking off the event with a speech that I think people are really going to like, and I really appreciate him doing that and bringing more eyes to this problem because it's a collective problem, and I hope all of you enjoy it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Everybody should definitely tune in Sunday, May 21st. at 5 p.m. This is an online event. It's going to be streaming on social media platforms. You can follow them Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Alex, do you want to just tell people how they can watch this, where, and how they can follow your group, both on Twitter, Facebook, and wherever else?
Yeah, I mean, you can follow us on Twitter. You can go to United for EP on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. Or just, if you really want to get, first of all, it's not really about United for EP. We're just, all I tried to do and all our team tried to do was just try to get outside resources into East Palestine and help with getting the initial charge going. If you actually want to reach out to the people of East Palestine who have done a phenomenal job since of organizing themselves, they just had a fantastic community-driven press conference where they asked sincere questions. Their Unity Council is doing a phenomenal job. Juju Gianez, Jamie, they're doing a great job. You can go onto there's several Facebook groups you can look up. United for East Palestine, that's our Facebook group. You'll find them there. East Palestine Off the Rails. There's a lot of really great Facebook groups that you want to get involved in that. And if you are interested in figuring out how we can work together to just fix the basic failings of our infrastructure and try and get our society functioning to where we're not poisoning ourselves, come to the summit. And on Sunday, May 21st at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be mind expanding, but it's not going to be tonight. May 21st, 5 p.m. Check us out.
All right. Cool.
Can I ask you a question while I have you here? So I know this area is heavily Republican voting, right? But I'm assuming you have people from different sides of the political universe all coming together in this town around this. Is that true, or would you say it's predominantly conservatives? But
here's the thing: outside, like the majority of people in the United States, in my opinion, don't actually particularly identify themselves with any political affiliation. If they do, it's usually seasonal. Like people like Trump. There's a lot of people who like Donald Trump, not necessarily because they're hardcore Republicans, but because he portrays himself as anti-establishment and, F the man and all of that, which is a sentiment that most of us can relate to. And he presents it in a way that are, convergent with a lot of people's sensibilities in this area. But like Republicans, I mean, they're not but by that I would think you mean like they organize for the Republican Party, which not really. They are rural, largely European, ancestral people in a rural part of the Midwest / East Coast, Ohio. A lot of Italians, a lot of Greeks, a lot of Irish. A lot of people who came from Europe, and families been there for. There's people that like East Palestine is a very, very a lot of these people have some of these families have been there for over 100 years. There's 47 members of a single family name within this 2-mile, 3-mile block.
Right.
So this is it's a very insular culture, and they have their ways about them, but essentially it's so much less about Republican, Democrat, and it's so much more just about how the capitalist class slice up the working class to get them to get their energy into some culturalistic warfare, whether it's ideas of racism or ideas of transhumanism or transgenderism or what it's all nonsense. At the end of the day, they're poisoning all of us. At the end of the day, we're all breathing. I mean, there's Republican or Democrats, toxic vinyl chloride is going to kill you. So
yeah.
That's part of the transhumanism project, isn't it? So that we won't have to breathe.
Yeah, right.
Is that what they're working on?
I mean, I'm definitely super excited to breathe in through a tube the rest of for millennia. Is there plan to turn this into?
It'll be like Hellboy. We'll have the gills.
Aqualad. Yeah. I'm excited for it. I can't wait to only see in black and white until have to type to communicate. I'm excited.
Is this a great time or what?
Right?
Or what?
Brave New World.
Alex, Felix from United for East Palestine. The events, the Common Sense Summit, May 21st at 5 p.m. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. We'll tweet out all those links the day of. Hopefully you get a fantastic crowd. Thank you for all the great work, my friend. Great to see you again.
Thank you, Keaton. Thank you, Russell. I'm going to watch this.
Alex.
Looking forward to it.
All right. Thank you, man. Have a good one.
Thank you very much.
Please clap.